Like, did you see Rashomon?
Yeah, of course. The Kurosawa movie?
Yeah, did you like it?
Yeah.
Because I saw The Last Duel first, and so I was like, wow, that's really cool.
Wait,
And
let
then
me
I'm
try
like,
that again. Say, I saw The Last Duel first.
I saw The Last Duel first. So smug. I love it. Drinking out of your cool limbs coffee mug.
Yeah, man.
It's alive. It's alive. Hello, you beautiful freaks. Welcome to a brand new episode of Freakles. I'm your host, EJ Leeson. And of course, with me today is my co-host, the Elvis Presley of podcasting. Because we most likely will find him dead on his toilet. Rory Colorasi. How you doing?
Well,
Dead on his toilet. That's fantastic.
yeah, no, that's probably about right. Checks out.
But you're also a rock star as well.
You could say it.
Yeah.
Filthy drunk. You know, I was thinking about. I was listening back to some of our episodes. I make a lot of jokes about me being an alcoholic,
Yeah.
and I don't really drink.
And a pill popper, too.
Yeah,
Which is
lots
great.
of drugs, and I'm not even like.
Here's the wonderful thing,
I
though.
live so clean.
When you make the alcoholic jokes, I feel like it's at my expense.
But yeah, I'm basically like taking your life.
So every time you say it, I feel guilty about it. But it's okay because you're putting it on yourself.
I am. I'm a liar.
I'm a liar. I'm a fraud.
I'm a cheat.
I'm a phony.
Yeah.
Phony. Phony.
He's a big fat phony.
But yeah, I love you, dude. You are a rock star.
He is. I agree.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
You ever see this guy do karaoke?
Yes. At Rum Runners,
Amazing.
which was, forever ago. But yeah, great.
Yeah. He'll
There's
do
a-
stuff that I'm like, where? Whoa! Like you just blow me away.
Yeah.
And also with us, fresh out of daycare, the youngest of young. Vince, what's up, baby?
Hey, buddy, I don't feel good, but we're gonna get through this. We're gonna plow through this.
Oh, I'm so ready.
I'm excited. This movie had everything that you wanted in it. I'm
Yeah.
excited to talk about it.
Yeah, this doesn't necessarily hold up as well as I remembered.
Oh,
Hey,
really?
you know what's funny? I saw this in the theater, and it's
Yeah.
exactly what I remember.
Really?
Yeah.
See,
I saw it with Will Perna, and we were
Yeah.
both just kind of like,
Shout out Will Perna.
yeah,
Yeah.
shout
God
out Will
love Will
Perna.
Perna.
The legend.
the legend,
What a
the myth,
legend.
the legend.
I think 3 references on the podcast.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
love Will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eventually, we'll tell him about this.
We should get Will on the podcast.
Oh, I would love to.
Oh, I would love to.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite people just to goof with.
Yeah.
He's funny.
so funny.
Hey, Will, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Come hang out with us.
It's like, I have a life, guys.
I know. He's like, I'm doing stuff.
He's doing cool things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to run over some topics. So I saw a bunch of movies over the Thanksgiving holiday,
too.
and I got to see The Holdovers.
Me too.
Amazing.
One of the best movies of the year, in my opinion. It's
I
like
think
my
so,
top
too.
3 favorite movies of the year.
Me too. It's so good.
What is the holdovers?
It's just a movie where it takes place in a private preparatory kind of school, and Paul Giamatti is one of the teachers. He's selected to be there to chaperone the kids who can't go home for Christmas
Okay.
because of their parents being either too busy,
Negligent.
negligent, really,
Selfish.
yeah. But he and this one student, they really get along really well, and they kind of bond over.
But it's not like they get along in like that movie way.
Right, yeah.
It's not just like they immediately wow, you're like the father I never had. Like they still kind of treat each other like trash
Just for
sometimes.
plot.
Yeah.
But no, it's a very authentic movie.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I
The
remember.
directing
Yeah.
is so
Dude,
good.
It was one of those things when I was leaving the theater. I was Beck and I were talking about it, and I said that's like my favorite kind of movie. There's a very clear cut vision. The directing is immaculate, and that visual style in it. Like as soon
Yeah.
as the movie started, I'm like, I'm in love with this movie.
Yes.
So I don't want to
Yeah.
ruin anything else about it. Go out and support the Holdovers. You'll love it.
Yeah.
What else did you see?
Thanksgiving.
Me too.
That was a lot of fun.
Lots of fun.
But I also saw Next Goal Wins. Napoleon, and
I saw that as well.
Trolls 3.
I didn't see Trolls 3, but I did see Next Goal Wins. I saw Napoleon.
How great is Next Goal Wins?
Oh, it's fantastic.
Is that?
It was so
Taika-
I mean, well, to be fair, well, I'll put it this way: it's utterly charming.
Yeah.
because Taika White, what is it?
Waititi?
Taika,
Yeah, I
utterly
love
charming.
him when he's like firing, because I mean it's not as good as his Jojo Rabbit. Like, not a lot of things.
Not
are.
as good as his Hitler performance, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, the Jojo Rabbit is a beautiful movie. I don't care what anyone says. Come at me, Freakles Nation.
Haven't seen it.
Oh, it's
About to see it.
It's wonderful.
It's great.
It's another one of those little pieces of cinema, you know.
Yeah.
that I was
When
like,
you see it, there's so much I want to talk
yeah,
to you
we'll
about.
talk-
It.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next
I'll get
on
there.
Freakles.
I'm gonna get. No, I'll get there.
Yeah. So that's basically all the movies that I got to see over that weekend.
Can I tell you what I've seen in the past like week and a half or so?
Yeah.
Next Goal Wins.
Everybody, sit down.
Hold on,
because
hold
you're
on.
gonna need this.
We're gonna need this.
You're gonna. Sit.
Next Goal Wins. Wish, Killers of the Flower Moon, Priscilla, The Marvels, The Holdovers, Thanksgiving, Napoleon, and then I went home. Oh, and Babette's Feast, but that was like a Criterion movie that I bought.
Oh.
Tell me you don't have kids by not telling me that you have
I
kids.
do not have children,
I saw
but I had
7
two very worried cats where they're like, "Where are you?"
When-
But they
And
were
that-
asking me that in like a more of like a philosophical kind of way.
Yeah, but then you got home and they're like, I don't care.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
like, "Feed me."
Feed me. My bowl is empty.
But yeah, the last like week and a half is just it's just been spending money at the movies, and
Yeah,
it's
me
been
too.
very happy.
I
I
was-
always leave the theater feeling fantastic.
I was gonna say when he sees movies, he's much happier than when he's not seeing.
I'm like a serial killer after
like-
they've done their deed. You
Yeah.
know? I see movies, I come in, I'm like, "Hey Vince."
He's like
Hey.
Dexter. He has like a little case. He
Yeah.
opens it up and he puts his movie tickets in there.
just like Dexter in other ways too. Moving on.
No.
I wanted to do a thing real quick.
Yeah.
So last episode that we recorded for Totally Killer, EJ mentioned that it had been his birthday.
Yeah.
So I had ordered him something, and it had not yet arrived on his birthday, which is a huge bummer. Very embarrassing too, and everyone's like giving you stuff, and I'm like, I swear I ordered it. You know? I'm like that.
Just blame
deadbeat
Amazon.
dad.
Yeah.
Blame Amazon.
But I did bring it.
Oh my
With me.
gosh. Oh my gosh.
Some of this might get edited out. First things first. Here's his card.
I hope it's.
that looks like a dildo.
I love it.
Oh no, it's an
It's
envelope.
a card.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a
I want
card.
you to. I want you to take a look at what it is.
All right. Just for purposes, I'm gonna try not to get my fingerprints all over it.
Ready?
We have the baby scum. Thank you for this beautiful birthday card.
Can you explain to the audience what it is?
Yes. So I opened.
That
up
looks
the
like a ransom
envelope.
note.
It is.
And-
It is a ransom
Um,
note. Okay.
Yeah. You could see each letter was cut out from either like a newspaper or a magazine.
What are newspapers and magazines?
Oh boy.
Get Indiana Jones.
Yeah. So it says we have the baby scum, and that's my birthday card.
Yeah.
And there's actually kind of like a tradition between me and Rory.
Okay.
It's not the first.
I'm learning
or
about
the
this, but I
last.
like it.
I've gotten a lot of ransom notes
Okay.
over the years.
Sometimes on his birthday, and sometimes when he's sick, and I just want him to feel better.
Yeah.
And then-
Thank you so much.
And then I didn't
I always
wrap
keep
this.
these.
I didn't wrap this because I didn't think that much of you.
Oh,
Don't worry,
good.
Amazon wrapped
Here
it
you
for
go.
you.
I wanted you to have
Gosh.
that.
Oh my gosh.
I know. Where do you see this thing?
He's got a package. He's opening it.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Dude, I literally I watched this like a few months ago and I loved it. You know, I was so blown away by it. I actually was like just the images in this movie
What is
alone.
that? Doom?
It's called
the video game. Oh no. Okay.
yeah. A Vampire.
Vampire.
It came out what, like 1920s?
It's like it's like 1932.
32, yeah.
Yeah, but it's beautiful.
It's
Check it out.
gorgeous.
Frequel
Yeah,
thing.
I can't wait to see like all the features.
Is it Criterion or no?
Oh yeah, that's.
Oh, yeah,
when we-
that's a
when we
Criterion
babble about
collection.
Criterion.
Everybody do a shot.
Yeah.
But I wanted you to have that.
I
So maybe
love
it'll
it.
wipe away some of the horrible things that I've actually done to you and said about you.
Yeah, no, this is amazing, and I literally can't wait to watch it again.
I remember it's your birthday too, so I got you that.
Oh, thank
Wow.
you so much.
I just throw him a middle finger.
Oh, I got you the same thing.
Oh my god, two of
Thank
them.
you guys.
4.
Thanks.
Oh, two middle fingers.
I'll take as many as possible. Thank you guys. Yeah, no, one other thing that was a little traumatizing, not really, but I went to the bookstore and I was looking for bookends.
What's a book?
Yeah, I went in maybe I shouldn't name the bookstore, but
No, we're looking for sponsors. Go ahead, please.
I went into BAM.
Books a Million.
Books a Million.
Do you mean the Funko Pop store? That my daughters, that we go in there and they don't even know that there's books there. They just
They just
Funko
look
Pop.
for the Funko Pops.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
yeah.
I went in there and I was looking for bookends, right? And so I'm like, I'm going around the store, and then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna walk up to the counter and ask the two kids that were working, and because they were probably like 20, like anywhere between like 19 and 22 or something, you could tell. And I walk up and I go to the one gentleman. I go, "Do you guys have bookends here?" And he was like, "Oh, hang on." And he pretended to walk over to the computer, and then he was like, "What was that again?" I said, "Bookends." And then he was like, looked at the computer, and then he looked at his coworker, and then he was like, "What is that?" And I went, "Well, whatever." And then the coworker literally goes, "Yeah, I was wondering that too." Like the girl. And I was like, "Oh no, where am I? Am I officially like an old person now?"
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, you are.
We are.
Yeah, we're
Or
there.
is it like the loss? I'm like, so I explain. I'm like, it's kind of like a like a paperweight
holds your book up.
you put up.
Yeah.
What's a
on your
book?
bookshelf. Yeah,
That's what it
Like it's like they had like paper. They're like, what's paper?
yeah.
Oh.
And so I literally.
You mean like
it's
an
a
app?
paperweight, and in case your books topple over, you can put it at the end of the books, and they go, "Oh," and they still probably had no idea what I was
Blank
talking
stares.
about. And so I walked out with me and Robin were there, and I was just like, I can't believe that happened. And she's like, "Me too." And we literally over the course of dinner, that's all we talked about. We're like, are we like?
Yeah.
I felt dumber like walking out of the bookstore. I
It
don't
would
know.
be really
It's just
funny
so-
if you turned around, and looked at like through the window, and they were just pointing and laughing at you.
like, what is that?
The kid throws like a cup of soda at your head.
But I was like, how do you work at a bookstore and me not know that?
Not
'Cause
know what bookends are?
They are used there. Like you definitely see in certain sections they'll have like, I don't know, bookends. But it blew my mind. And not even 24 hours later, I'm getting lunch with
Those
Ross.
kids were both found dead.
No, I was getting lunch with Ross, and they take our names, and so they're like, "Oh, what is your name?" And I was like, "EJ," and they're like, "What is that again?" I said, "EJ." They're like, "How do you spell it?" And I went, "EJ."
Wait, slow down.
Read that
And
back.
again, probably like in the same age.
Yeah, could you read that
I'm
back
like,
to me
What is
again?
happening? Yeah, I felt like just out of place so bad this weekend.
Thanks for your name, DJ.
DJ.
They don't even EJ. Like that's it.
You know, after we run through the episode, I'm going to tell you a very similar experience that I had. Well, bookend.
Okay. Well, all right. Let's
That's
do
what it is, you idiots. I hope you're listening.
They're not.
Oh yeah, they're probably like out like protesting something.
But one more thing. Thanks to Rory, Jenna Ortega has stepped away from Scream 7.
I'm taking full accountability.
No.
for
Take
this.
full credit for it.
Fine, I'm taking credit for this.
Yeah.
What happened? Give me the hot goss.
She could not write.
Couldn't handle.
She couldn't handle
heat.
someone else.
She
Okay.
couldn't handle the heat from prequels. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Jenna, you know what? We're not gonna miss you. Why don't you?
No. We still have a chance to get her. So let's hold off on that.
That's
Let's,
true.
yeah.
We love you, Jenna Ortega.
Yeah. You're all right.
My
Yeah.
kids watched Wednesday, the full thing in 2 days, and they loved it. So
Yeah?
I'm trying to be nice.
You
to
hear
them.
that, Jenna Ortega?
Yeah.
And then she's going to be in Beetlejuice 2.
Beetlegeist.
Yeah, Beetlejuice 2.
I can't wait for that to come out and no one ever talks about it again. It's gonna go
Yeah.
the way of A Christmas Story 2. You know what? You didn't even remember that movie existed until I just said it.
It is a little weird that it took this long to do a Beetlejuice 2. But yeah, let's get into the movie today. This is a remake of the 1974 film by
Bob
Bob
Clark.
Clark. The Bob
Classic.
Clark. Yeah.
Is he known in the industry
Christmas
as...
Story, good sir.
I don't...
He directed
Christmas
a
Story
Christmas
with
Story.
Ralphie.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, he did a horror movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll
He was
take
a
that.
versatile man.
Yeah, he loves Christmas, apparently.
My only fact about Christmas Story is in the movie Elf, there is the head elf, not the father of Elf,
yeah.
but he, the guy who plays Ralphie was in Elf, and I didn't know that until like 2 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, he is actually really good friends with Jon
Favreau.
And he's actually in Iron Man as well. You know Jeff Bridges?
Yeah.
He plays Obadiah Stane.
Yes.
So Obadiah Stane loses his mind. He goes, Tony Stark built this.
Was he the scientist?
And he's the scientist he's yelling at. Yeah, so that's Ralphie.
Okay, I did not know that.
Yeah.
I love that.
The actor,
I love it.
yeah.
Do you remember when Tony got his suit and he's like, he'll shoot your eye out?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yes, I remember.
And then Sam Jackson's like, he ain't kidding.
He ain't kidding.
Oh. Right?
Yeah.
Put a cat got him. I know.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful. I like it.
But we are
Fuck you.
talking about Black Christmas. And this movie is directed by Glenn Morgan, and he's actually pretty well known for writing the Final Destination, the first film and the third one, which is great stuff, yeah.
Pretty good.
I don't have any complaints about his directing, I think.
Oh, I do.
I don't know.
We'll get into that.
No, I mean,
We'll get into it, yeah.
I mean, I would say maybe not so much in Final Destination, but
Yeah.
this one's got a lot of
Issues?
a lot of
It's
issues.
got some issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, without further ado, let's get into Black Christmas. So, Black Christmas starts off at a sorority house where we meet the opening kill, and her name is Claire, and she's writing out a little Christmas card to her sister to attach to the gift.
Leah.
And as she's writing it out of nowhere, a plastic bag goes over her head, and she gets stabbed in the eye with a pair of scissors.
Yeah, and that was the moment that really distinguished the original from this load of crap. Because the original movie, it literally starts
Do
off...
tell, because I'm not going to watch it.
No, I would recommend it. I think it's
Was
actually...
it better than this?
It's a fantastic movie.
Okay.
The original movie.
What was the... Do you have a date on the original?
1974.
Wow.
So it literally starts off, and it's like kind of like the Halloween POV,
Right.
So it's like you basically show the POV of someone approaching the sorority house. You hear that Christmas music that should be playing like a graveyard. It just makes you feel it's like spooky, you know. And then
Spoopy.
it just has you hear the wind, and there's all this mood and dread, and then you're introduced to the characters. And it takes its time before they kill the first girl in a very similar way. And I'm just, it's like craft versus instant gratification.
Okay.
And how one has impact and the other one, I didn't remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. It sums up as soon as this person is killed, Claire, it cuts right to the opening title, Black Christmas. And the original, yes, it works its way, builds up the suspense. This is just like, hey,
Here you go.
and off you go.
Yeah.
So now it cuts over to the insane asylum, and this orderly is passing around some milk and different foods to people. And
It's feeding time.
it's feeding time, yeah. And a guy in a Santa Claus costume randomly walks in, and he's like, whoa, sorry guys, wrong floor. And the orderly is creepier than the guy playing Billy Lynn's, the serial killer.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Isn't the orderly like, what are you doing here?
That guy's got secrets.
Yeah.
He does.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
What's going on with that guy? But
He's like a guy that who goes home and you haven't heard a word from mom in a while.
yeah, it's just like this guy. No, so to Santa Claus, he walks in on the wrong floor, and a security guard gives him basically the whole backstory. Not the whole backstory, because don't trust me, we get the whole backstory throughout this movie.
Yeah, at a certain point we got it. Yeah.
Yeah, we get it. So
He reached deep into his Santa bag and pulled out a box of exposition.
Yes.
Great. So the security guard's like, yeah, this is Billy Lynn's the guy who cooked up his family and made cookies out of them.
Did you find it weird that when he was telling that story, he was actually reading from the script?
Yeah.
He had it in his hand, and he's like,
He had his sides.
yeah. He was just kind of
You
like
just
reading it
see
to the
his
side.
eyes, like,
Yeah.
like
Moving
very
on.
And the cue
SNL.
cards are over here.
Just like reading the lines.
In my notes, I had him listed as exposition clause.
Yeah. So as he gets this he's filled in with this information, we get a quick glimpse of Billy Lenz, who looks like a rejected Simpsons character.
Just
I was like,
it's called jaundice, and you guys need to go see a doctor about that.
maybe,
Yeah, absolutely.
But on the outside, over at the sorority house, so after we get like this quick thing, and the orderly says the weirdest thing too. He's like, "It's chicken. It tastes like chicken. The closest thing it will taste like his mom or whatever." And you're
Which
like,
is chicken.
To that,
okay.
To that, I wrote, fun fact, Aaron Sorkin wrote this crackling dialogue.
I don't think he did. But
Throughout this review, there's a couple of times when I was taking my notes where I just wrote down pieces of dialogue because I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
what is this?
like if there's like a dumpster for dialogue, they were
This is
dumpster
it?
diving, yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
before
totally agree.
before we go any further, I want to list all of the things that I just loved about this movie. Number one, the lighting in this with the Christmas lights, just
bring
the
that up
whole
too.
thing was unbelievably.
Oh, you're not being sarcastic?
No,
Good for
100%.
you.
No.
Yeah.
The lighting in this was fantastic.
Yeah.
Everything Christmas lights was fantastic, especially the end when there's a death at the end, and we'll probably get to that at some point.
Yeah.
But the lighting was fantastic. I loved the way everything looked, and that was it.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
There's a
I didn't
nice
like anything else. The only other thing I liked about this movie is that it ended. So the lighting for me and the fact that the movie ended was the only thing that I liked about this movie. But go on, because I'm going to trash this one.
Wait,
This one is going to be brutal.
So you like the Christmas lights and the fact that it ended. I believe that was actually one of the quotes on the poster. Roger Ebert.
Was that on it? That was on there?
Everett's
Roger
review.
Ebert's.
Yeah. No, I actually agree. The set dressing, set design, with all the lighting, the
Yeah.
Christmas lighting,
And
the
not-
way the house is decorated, not only on the exterior but the interior. There's a lot of really cool lighting. in
Should
this
you
movie.
be giving so much praise to something that everyone's mom does every year?
Right? Yeah.
But you know,
True.
Not everyone's mom's a cinematographer.
but you know that when you get the camera in there and you light things up, it's not what you envision. You have to do certain
The
things
house
to
is
make
good
it look.
looking.
The house is
Yeah.
good
The
looking.
house is good looking.
And I would
Yeah.
I'd give a nod to the cinematography too, because some of those angles were awesome. Everything was kind of like low from the waist, shot up, which gave me kind of anxiety, which I enjoyed in this, and I don't know why, but it was. I thought it was well shot. The lighting was amazing. The colors were fantastic. There's a scene where, and I'm sorry, I'm jumping all over the place.
No.
There's like an oven shot where they zoom in on the oven when he's cooking his mother's skin, which we'll get there too. But there's this scene where they zoom in on the oven, and there's just this like old 80s classic oven look to it that made me feel nostalgic, and I really enjoyed it.
When you used to like cook your mom
When
in
I
the
cooked
oven?
my mother's skin in the
I
oven,
used
yes.
to cook my mom.
Yes, in the
oven.
angel
Used to make
cookie
you
cutter. Yes.
nostalgic for.
Brings back the holidays.
Yeah, got me in the spirit.
Got me in the spirit. So we cut back to the sorority house, and we get to meet our protagonist of the film, Kelly Presley, chatting with her boyfriend Kyle about spending Christmas with her sorority sisters. She's like, I gotta spend time with them, but Christmas Day, me and you all week, baby. And he's like, oh, come on, baby. And
What about right now?
yeah, and you're just like, all right, I don't know.
Word of advice to the screenwriter: don't let your 9-year-old write the first scene between your leads.
Yeah. It just is like, what is this establishing? I guess she belongs to the sorority house and they're in a relationship.
They're
That's it.
dating.
Like, they're dating. Yeah.
And she may or may not be the main character, because I couldn't
Right.
tell about midway through the movie where I'm like,
main character
who's my lead? I'm pretty sure it's Katie Cassidy,
yeah.
but there's times where I'm like, is it Michelle Trachtenberg? No,
No.
it's not her. I don't know.
The cast in this movie is pretty incredible.
It's a good
How many
cast.
people they got for
Yeah.
this. And they all kind of, respectively had their, moments where they're huge. And I feel like Mary Elizabeth Winstead is the perfect example of that. I feel like she's more popular now than probably when this movie came out.
I mean, to be fair, like they gave her nothing to work with, though.
Yeah.
I mean, she's like.
Did they give anybody anything to work with in this?
Her though, she's actually a very good actress, and it was just kind of like, we want you to stay at one note.
And that's
don't deviate.
It. Don't you dare.
Yeah.
Don't you try and be good in this.
Don't you dare. We'll tell you, McGregor.
Yeah. And so then in the next shot, we get to establish all the other sorority sisters and the house itself, like a little bit of the layout. I do love that opening shot of the house that we do get. I was like, that's a great establishing shot of a location. And we get to see the characters who are pretty much stuck there until a certain time.
Stuck there.
Yeah.
They are mean. They are mean girls.
Yeah.
And one of them's literally a mean girl.
Mean girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of them literally is Lacey Chabert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I put that in my notes as a joke.
What, Lacey Chabert?
The mean girl thing.
Mean girl.
Oh, yeah.
She was in a movie called Mean Girls.
But then, because we were having so much fun at the asylum, it cuts back to the asylum, and we see Billy Lenz pulls this Andy Dufresne kind of thing, and not one Rita Hayworth poster was used, by the way, but he does chisel a hole in the wall, and the security guard looks in and he sees the sink is like ripped from the wall and there's this giant hole, so he goes to inspect it, and as he's looking in this hole, which is probably big enough for Billy Lenz to escape through,
Big oversight for a prison, by the way.
Right, yeah, it's like,
know?
oh, you didn't notice that before?
Yeah,
It
like
was
giant gap
figure
behind
that out.
right. And he didn't use any poster of the sex symbol of the decade. Like,
It's in the deleted scenes. It's actually like a big giant poster of B. Arthur.
That's B. Arthur.
Yeah.
Billy Lenz is like, yeah.
I've been watching a lot of Golden Girls.
We can tell.
I love her.
But Billy tricks this guard, and Billy sneaks out from under the bed and kills the security guard with a sharpened off candy cane. And if the neck wound doesn't kill a guard, diabetes will.
He tears his eyes out, right?
I think he does tear. I think that's his MO. Like,
Yeah, he rips the eyes out. Because when that happened, it was at that point in the movie where I was like, I really think Billy should have had like one-liners. Like, he could be like, "Do you see what I see?" Rip his eyes out, right?
That's good.
Yeah.
Have you ever done that with a candy cane?
Yes.
Where to the point, I could probably murder someone with this.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I know what.
Yeah.
I know what you meant.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, back on.
we're on to what you were saying.
Quick, continue.
I have
Rest of your-
full control over editing this scene out. Say, cops, you ain't coming to get me. Not again.
Meanwhile, back at the sorority house, Kelly Presley goes upstairs to get the other sisters for the Secret Santa exchange. And we also find out there's this tradition where they open a gift. They have a gift for Billy Lenz.
Billy.
And it's supposed to like ward off the bad energy of Billy Lenz or whatever.
Didn't work.
And
Well, it seems like it
doesn't
might,
work.
It seems like it might invite him to come.
Right?
A
It's
gift
like,
for me?
oh, a gift for me?
Wow.
So it goes upstairs, and this is where we meet Megan, who is crying as she watches a video of her sex tape with Kyle, the same Kyle that Kelly Presley is dating. And suddenly Megan hears a noise, so she goes to investigate it, and needless to say, Megan is brutally killed by an ornament in a plastic bag. Like, this is like one of the worst ones right out the gate, where she gets stabbed and the eye is ripped out, and it was pretty brutal.
What's gross about it is that it's this girl who was humiliated by having her porn video posted online, and then she's just savagely murdered.
Yeah.
What does that add insult to injury?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
that's some of the issues with this movie. Where
And
you're
there's-
like, what
there's-
a mean-spirited end to such a
Right.
forgettable character.
There's nothing
Yeah.
like a plastic bag murder. That's the way to go. It's
Yeah.
very
Oh.
clean, very very
Oh,
graphic.
first time I
I
met
like
you,
that.
you said that.
And you know what's weird? The one girl who is a plastic doesn't get killed by a plastic bag.
Oh, hello.
Boom, Mean Girl reference. But back at the asylum again. The guy.
Because we're not done yet.
We're not done there. Like I feel like this could have been tied up pretty much into like if you just shot it in sequence, like you know, like the whole sequence together. But I don't know if they were like, oh, this is too much like Halloween Resurrection. I have no idea. I don't know why they did this, but they kept flashing back and forth. And I don't know if that was like a way. See, this is like a question I had for you.
Okay.
Do you think it was because there's so many flashbacks throughout the rest of the movie that they were trying to ease us into those flashbacks a little bit better so it wouldn't be as jarring? Is that like do you think that was like the creative choice was like, okay, we're going to go back and forth to the sorority house and the asylum, and that was literally like boom, 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 like back and forth. And I was like, why didn't they just show the whole sequence as the beginning and then go, you know, like to the sorority house? But then I was like, oh, maybe it's the creative choice to make us, the audience, ease into all the flashbacks from like the 70s, 80s, 90s and stuff.
Oh, possible.
Right? I don't know. I meant to ask you that. I was like, I wonder if that was like, if you thought that was like the creative choice.
I don't think there were any creative choices. If I could be honest with you, I think that they had a very thin premise, and they were like, let's fill it up with what we can throw in there.
Yeah.
Are you saying that you wanted the montage right away to explain everything? You didn't want it broken up throughout the movie? Because I felt the Kyle. I thought his montage or his explanation in that little part was perfect for me because I had no idea.
That could have been enough, right? Like I felt like that was good, but I was saying,
you know what else would have worked nicely? How about this? I'm going to be very serious. I'm a big fan of.
I love that we're both
ready for
we're
something.
just ready. We're ready.
It's not coming. No, I like what we can sometimes refer to as like campfire horror. Like, I think it would have been nice if they're all sitting around the fireplace and they just tell the legend of Billy and just move past it.
And
like
the
light, dim the lights and you got the fireplace crackling and they're just like, Billy had sex with his mom and it was weird.
Yeah.
Wait,
was
what?
Yeah, I know. Like, he was making you go back to that. But I think like you didn't really need all the flashbacks.
Yeah, because it jumps all over the place.
Yeah, I'm like,
back
what is
and
this,
forth,
Batman
like,
Begins?
the whole time. Yeah, and it's just like
I love that movie.
unnecessary. You know, like I felt like you could have done all the asylum stuff together, and then go right to the sorority house, and at least it could have, you know, I don't know, like meshed up a little bit better. But like I said, I don't know if that was like, oh, we have so many flashbacks we want to do. So why don't we? And it's like literally throughout the movie, there's like
Yeah, it never
a
stops.
scene, and then it goes to a flashback, and then like present day, then a flashback. And so I was like, is that the creative choice? So it's not as jarring later on.
It's the Michael Myers of flashbacks. When you think it's dead, it just keeps coming.
It just keeps going. It just keeps going. But yeah,
And again, let's not call it creative. Let's just call it a choice.
the choice.
A choice of
choice-
Wait, a choice of sorts.
A
choice was made.
sorts. I like that. So back at the asylum, the guy dressed as Santa gets killed by Billy Lynn's, and Billy escapes basically wearing the Santa Claus outfit, and he's carrying the bag, like the bag
With a
of
full
the dead,
body in it.
a
Yeah.
full dead body, and an arm is literally sticking out when we see it like thrown into the garbage, and so he's walking out the front door, and a guy that works there gives him like an odd look. And I was like, oh, probably because he has yellow skin. But maybe it was the arm that was sticking out of the bag.
I'm gonna say it was the arm.
Yeah,
That's usually worthy of an eyebrow cock.
yeah, to be like, oh, what?
Like,
You think he would have stopped him there? But...
Well, what was probably weird was that the hand actually waved goodbye.
yeah, he's like,
It was a weird night.
yeah. And then back at the sorority house, the Secret Santa begins their Secret Santa exchange. Heather, a.k.a. Ramona Flowers, a.k.a. Mary Elizabeth Winstead, isn't crazy about this whole tradition, and especially putting out the gift for Billy Lynn's. And one sister goes off listing all her knowledge of the pagan traditions. A tree is for the return of crops. Oh, that mistletoe is actually just a conception charm. And luckily, she's cut off by a flashback to the Christmas 1970.
Wait, I just wrote before we go beyond this. When she was doing her whole pagan thing,
Yeah.
I wrote, for some reason,
Chris Conforti.
This dialogue is embarrassingly embarrassing and embarrassing and ... Now I want pie.
Yeah. Interesting.
I was falling asleep.
Yeah. That makes sense. But we get a flashback to 1970 Christmas. And in the flashback, we get to learn that a little bit more about Billy's backstory.
It's kind of the backstory to the yellow bastard in Sin City, isn't it?
Yeah, which is
Isn't that where he
oddly,
came
he's a yellow bastard himself.
All right.
Yeah.
They
Billy's
tie together.
Yeah.
You ever see Sin City, Vince?
Yes, I love Sin City.
All right.
Excellent movie. I love Robert Rodriguez. He's another
It's a
one of my
fantastic
favorites.
Yeah.
Billy's loving father, what we see, is killed by Billy's not so loving mother, and so
Wait. Can we talk about the mom?
she's amazing.
Yeah, I put trailer trash mom as my favorite.
I
She's
actually
like, the
love
Russians killed Santa Claus.
her. Yes, she's like
She
not
stole
coming.
the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, she was great.
She's probably like one of the best parts of the whole movie. But the mom is so terrible to Billy Lynn's. He runs up to his room and then he overhears his mom and dad fighting. And the dad's like, "How could you do this? I went to Vietnam, and you're cheating on me." And she's like, "Yeah, we're gonna do everything without you, right?" And then Billy Lynn's like creeps out and he watches
Terrible crawling. Like
Yeah.
his technique for crawling, I don't get it.
It's very strange. I
It's
noticed
very,
that too.
it's
they're
unique
like,
to say the
oh,
least.
He's like
It's-
the grudge monster.
Hands and knees on the ground, but feet in the back, up in the air, which didn't make any sense to me.
It looks like Tobey Maguire when he's scaling the building for the first time in Spider-Man, and I was like,
wondering how you
doesn't
were
know
working this.
I was like, it looked like that when he's like, and he does that look like,
Can I take a stab at it?
yeah,
So, like, I imagine the director is sitting there and he's like, all right, this is supposed to be like a creepy horror movie. When you crawl, can you try to be like creepy? And then the kid just gave him that.
yeah,
And that's what we got.
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
were like, we're burning $1 million a minute. They're like, good enough.
That
Yeah,
makes
it works.
that makes more sense than anything I could come up
Right?
with. Yeah.
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 yeah, and I think like so he crawls his way up to the one room.
Like the director wanted to reshoot it, but he was
Right.
like, the
He was
amount
like-
of money that it would cost to bring him back for that, no, it's fine the way it is.
So, like,
Yeah.
it kind of matches what we already shot.
What we already
so.
got. Yeah. It's already terrible. Let's keep
Yeah.
it that way.
Well, let's just keep going. And so, yeah. So this kid, he crawls up, young Billy Lynn's, and he witnesses his father get thrown to the ground, a plastic bag over his head.
I love that. Why do
And
I
he
like
gets
that?
his head bashed in.
Why is that such a cool way to murder someone? Can anybody explain that to me?
Maybe
Why
you got
I
a weird kink.
I don't know.
I have to go. I have to leave now. No, it was actually pretty cool. We get like his MO, like that later.
That's his
is
way,
Something
yeah.
he does, yeah.
Can you not encourage him?
I
I see what you're doing right now. You're trying to be like, yeah, it's not weird.
Built me
What
here.
you said right now?
yeah, everything you just said, totally normal.
Yeah, that's okay. You don't have to feel bad about your sick fantasies, Vince.
Hey.
And we see where the mother and her new boyfriend end up burying the dad in the crawl space, and then Billy runs off and he just starts to live in the attic now. He like crawls his way up to the attic, and that's where he lives now. So in present day, the sorority gets a deranged call saying, "Get out of my house." and they're like, they don't care. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, whatever.
Yeah, we're used to this.
Yeah. They're like, whatever. So then it cuts back to another flashback in 1982 where Billy's mother is trying to hook up with the stepfather.
At the top of the steps.
Yeah.
Scene. Yeah.
And then she's like, oh, great, again, because he passes out. So she goes...
Which is hot.
Yeah, it's so hot.
That's some hot sex.
I know that.
Yeah.
Some hot sex.
She's like, oh, you passed out again?
Yeah.
I'm like, again?
Again? So she walks
And then
up...
she blames the kid for it, too, which I love.
Yeah. She goes up to the attic, and Billy, who's... I don't know. I guess he would be 20. No, maybe 12. I forget. I don't even know.
I don't
Billy's
think about it.
I
some
don't
age.
Yeah, I don't have my abacus, but yeah.
Yeah. So Billy, the mother, she goes up and she makes the love to him, and
She drops her shirt, which is I'm still confused by that.
Yeah.
She goes up into the attic. Was just got off of whoever was that the boyfriend at the time.
Yeah.
Goes up and then undresses in front of her son, and then it cuts. So my confusion at that point is I have no idea what's going on.
We know what's going on? Billy's a real motherfucker.
It's called incest, Vince. Practice it.
You like that?
Yes.
But yeah, she has sex with her son, Billy.
We think. I don't. Yeah. Okay, but go
and
ahead.
then it goes 9 months later, and there's a baby, and you're like,
Do they need to do the
Agnes.
9 months later thing as if we just couldn't figure that out ourselves?
right? They're like 9 months later, and then,
Just in case you don't know how long
Yeah.
it takes for a baby to be born.
and the mom like
the gestation period of a human is 9 months.
I love when movies spell out
Yeah.
things to me.
the mom like hears Billy in the attic like roaming around or through the walls or whatever, and she goes, "She's our family now," and you're like, okay, all
right.
cool.
Mom, what's your problem with me?
Yeah, it's like, what the hell is going on? But back in present day, we meet the other sorority sisters who we haven't met, and that is Eve, who is a little bit off. She's the one that with the glasses and has the ornament that she wrapped up in like the newspaper. And the other sisters kind of inform each other that she has no mom or family for Christmas. So I think what they were trying to establish is maybe Eve is that daughter. Like the
I thought they were trying to say that
daughter.
whether you have a family or not, the sorority is your family. How she plays into that, and the fact that they're in that house the whole time, I don't understand. Again, the majority of this movie, I don't understand it.
I don't think they understood it
Okay,
either.
fair enough.
In my notes, it says Obi-Wan's wife got a member.
Obi-Wan's
Yeah, she got a member berry.
Yeah.
Because that you don't know this, Vince, because you haven't seen the original. But that little glass unicorn thing, that's from the original movie.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how they try to make you believe that this
That
is
it's-
based on that classy work of 1970 cinema.
And I'll save this for the end. This isn't even the worst remake of Black Christmas.
No. Oh, there's more?
There's another one that came out in 2019.
You know what it's like? It's like
And it has-
okay.
Here's
Yeah.
what I'll say. You know what's funny about this is every time I typed it into search for it, like on Prime Video and all the other shit, it would say Black Christmas 2006. So I'm assuming there's multiple Black Christmases
Yeah,
because
there's
you're telling me the 74 one.
2006.
But every time I typed it in, it would say
2019.
Black Christmas 2006, 74, or whatever the new one
The
was.
2019 movie is sort of like you're on the highway and a car hits your car, right?
Yeah.
And you think it's over. And then another car just slams into you, and this is the one that kills you.
Yeah.
And by the time you're dead, you're just like, well, thank God.
Thank God it's over. Thank God it's all over.
You're pretty much decapitated and you're just counting down the minutes.
Sweet
till you-
release.
Like someone threw a ice skate at my head. But yeah.
Yeah. So we get to meet, Eve, and the group starts to talk about her and how she's nerdy and she's kind of weird and doesn't have anybody. And
Which is what you want to hear on Christmas.
yeah, it's very nice of them. And the group continue to exchange gifts, and they get another call, and one finally is like, you know what? I'm gonna call campus security, and then you're like, great.
Yeah, you
That-
should have.
You
Yeah.
should have probably the first prank,
Yeah.
but whatever.
Oh, there's a funny line when she's like, oh, why, I have something like, why don't we star 6ix9ine him? And she's like, well, it's just gonna call back the same person.
Do you have any
Something like
questions?
that.
Yeah.
She's like, do you have any more questions for him?
Yeah, Michelle
Yeah.
Trachtenberg's a very good actress.
Yeah.
I like her a lot.
Um,
She was great on Buffy.
and so if you're wondering if campus security ever shows up in this movie, they don't. They're not.
Nor do the police.
Nor to the police. So that call was just like, yeah, I'll call campus security. Never happens, I guess. Well, no, we see her make the phone call, but they just
Nothing
don't
comes
give
of
a
it.
shit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They're all
so-
home for Christmas.
right. If you think they're coming, they're not.
They're not.
So upstairs, Kyle surprises Kelly Presley with a visit, and Kyle also gives more details about Billy's, in-depth flashback. So Billy gets a new telescope from his mom, and this kind of sets him off, and he decides to kidnap his sister Agnes, and Billy kills his mom and stepdad and rips out one of the eyes of his sister Agnes. He puts the bag over her head, rips out the eye, and Billy then bakes cookies out of his mother. He's cutting her skin.
Yeah, he rips
using
it-
a cookie cutter to make
he
the
pulls
shapes.
the back of her shirt off and then takes
Yeah.
the cookie cutter and then takes little chunks of skin out of her, which was pretty cool.
It was,
know what?
it was awesome.
You know what, guys?
Yeah.
Who would have thought that locking your son in an attic and then raping him would end badly?
Yeah.
Who'd
yeah.
have thought?
Who would have thought?
No, no.
No one would have put that together.
No. She's probably just like, he'll come out properly
He'll be
adjusted.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah. And we find out that Agnes never died. She is just sent to an orphanage, to live out her normal life.
She's
after
living
that.
out her life in plot purgatory.
Oh, wait. There was a plot?
Well, I think it's in one of the Christmas gifts.
Okay.
They just didn't open
They
that
didn't
one.
open it yet. They didn't get there.
Yeah, they didn't get there yet. And so Kyle finishes his story, and they're like, why did he do that? And he's like, maybe the gift brought back old memories. And they're like, okay. So then all of a sudden, Claire's sister shows up, which is Leah. And so Kyle and Kelly, they kind of stay upstairs, and they're arguing over in Megan's room.
He's doing his best to make sure that she doesn't look at the computer, right? Is this
Right,
the
yeah.
same-
This is when he's trying to keep her away from the computer and
Do you
stuff.
remember that a little eyeball floating notification thing on? Was that?
Yeah.
Did you have that on your computers? Because I remembered that very vividly. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I remember that.
I don't remember that.
Wait, do
Yeah.
they know? Does he know what's on the computer at that point?
I think
Yeah,
so.
because
Because
he
I
saw-
was just
'cause
get a
he-
sense that it's like they're doing this little dance with it, where you think that they're gonna see it, and then something blocks their view of it.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure he knew,
Yeah.
because at that point all he had to do was turn the monitor off if he did know.
In-
Just like, oh wait, Katie Cassidy, 1 sec,
Yeah.
turn the monitor off. Okay, let me go on manipulating you.
It's
Yeah.
it's a laptop. Just close the monitor.
Yeah,
You're
they're
done.
not-
Yeah.
Bingo bango. Done.
Yeah,
They actually, this is
it's not big.
odd for me to say, but the most suspense in this movie was this whole
What's that?
laptop thing and the way they shot it, because it's the laptop is in the forefront, and you see Katie Cassidy walking around the room, and you see the image of the sex tape on the laptop, and she's walking over to the closet, and she's kind of making her way to the front of that laptop.
It's a dance.
And I'm like, wow, this is really good suspense. Why isn't this used anywhere else in this movie? That, right? Isn't that the only
It's the
time?
closest thing they get to suspense.
Yeah.
Because
It's so weird.
Feeling suspense has to have. You have to have some sort of emotional involvement in the characters.
Oh, true.
So I know what you're saying. In theory, it's
In
suspense.
theory. Yeah. So
Wait, real quick before we bypass it, I did write down a line that I thought was kind of weird. When the sister shows up downstairs,
yeah.
Mean Girl says to her, I love that coat.
I love that jacket.
I love that jacket. And then the scene ends.
That
was
was-
their button. That's
Yeah.
what they went with.
But
That's yeah.
That's my favorite line from the movie because it is so out of place that she's talking about this serious
so
thing,
jarring.
and she's like, "I love your jacket."
What did she say? Coat? I think she says coat.
Coat, jacket. It doesn't
For the
matter.
record, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter,
Vince,
But
whoever's right, who cares?
but it's so good because it's so out of place and it's just jarring, and I'm like, I love that.
It's
That
a
was great.
real what the fuck moment for me because she's just like, I love that coat, and then we're on to the next scene. I'm like, oh, we're done.
Yeah,
That's-
exactly. That's why that was in there.
Oh my god.
That's okay. That's your place to transition
Yeah,
the scene.
I mean,
You're like,
generally,
cool.
scenes have an end, but I'm
do
like,
you think that was like supposed to be the joke, like a
Yes,
joke?
yes, that was supposed to be a joke, and I got it. I liked it.
Yeah.
Because she's talking about this super serious thing. She's talking about her sister. She's missing, and then she interrupts her, and she's like, "I love that jacket.
Yeah.
Whatever you're talking about, I don't care.
Care, yeah.
That jacket
That's
is
all I care
fire.
about.
I
Yeah.
love it.
It's
Where'd you get it? Is that Marc Jacobs?
Yeah. So
that would have been funny if they cut back upstairs and they had everything was going on, and then they came back downstairs. Like you see one of the characters coming down the steps, and she's still just like Louis Vuitton, like just trying to
figure out
what
what
it is.
yeah. So we see where Claire's sister, she actually finds a gift to the sorority from Billy, and inside they find a doll with no eyeballs in it. So meanwhile, upstairs, Kelly finds the video of Megan and Kyle, and they begin to fight even more. And
Which that guy sucks. Like, honestly, you can't just close the monitor screen on that. What are you doing?
He's like, hey, one of my coworkers took the tape and he put it online.
But there's not enough shit going on in that house right now that
Yeah.
you can't distract her for 2 seconds just to close the screen.
Yeah, and the way it happens, there's a power outage, and so the computer shuts off for a second, and then it comes right back on.
Yeah.
and that's how she ends up
she
seeing
sees it.
Yeah,
But there's also a little error screen that says your battery is about to die, which covers the faces, and you're like, oh, he's gonna get away with it, and then you get the screen open, and she sees what's going on.
Did they say something about looking at her computer at one point?
I don't even.
And he says something like, the guy literally says, he's like, I don't feel comfortable invading someone's privacy.
As
and this
he
is
breaks
coming
into
from
their
the
window.
guy who crawled through their window.
All through the.
yeah.
So,
All right.
Into that room.
So
yeah.
I want to say, with all this stuff, with everything that we're learning about these characters and all the scenes and comments on coats, I have a term that I want to use for this. It's called screenwriting vomit. You know what I mean? It's just like all this stuff that's just in your stomach.
And not to mention that we're back to the horror movie trope of someone breaking and entering into someone's house.
Yeah.
This is like the 5th movie where someone is breaking and entering into a house.
Yeah. Remember Chris from An American Werewolf?
Yeah.
Just broke into the house.
Fright Night. We've
Fright Night,
all these
Halloween
people.
Kills.
So this is another movie
Halloween
where we have
Kills.
someone breaking and entering into a house for no reason whatsoever, just because he couldn't get in.
Yeah. Yep. So Kelly and argues with Kyle, but meanwhile Mary Elizabeth Winstead, I feel like I always say her name wrong.
I don't know if I'm ever saying her name right.
Right. Mary Elizabeth Winstead finds a shoebox
Just call her
full.
Mew.
Mew. So Mew finds a shoebox full of Billy Lynn's news clippings and actually the eyes of the doll from downstairs. And so they're like, get Kyle out of here, kick him out. So they're all like trying to get Kyle out of there. And because the power went out, the drunk one.
Hey, the only person strong enough to protect us. Let's get rid of him.
Yeah, they're like, get him out of here.
There's a killer in this house, definitely. We're all agreed on that.
Yeah.
So anybody, if anyone could protect us here, it's this guy. Let's get rid of him.
Yeah.
Well, we don't want the potential sex offender hanging out in the sorority house, right?
Yeah.
Get him out of there.
So the drunk sorority sister who was listing off all the
girl
pagan-
that's hammered, I love her. She was my
Yeah.
favorite character because I can relate.
yeah, she goes to bed, and Lacey.
Wait, was that? Do we go past her vomiting?
The throwing up in
yeah,
the toilet.
yeah, she threw up.
Because I put the I don't care what her name is.
Yeah.
I just put girl vomiting.
Drunk girl.
We'll say drunk girl vomiting.
I think her name was Lauren.
No, it doesn't matter.
Sure.
Yeah, it doesn't
So
matter.
we'll say Lauren, the drunk girl vomiting. real footage of the actress after seeing dailies.
Damn.
There you go, guys.
That's so... Oh, no.
Oh my god, there's also this line I have next. I don't know where it happens in the movie because this movie has no flow, so it's hard to know where anything belongs. But it goes, Dick Cheney is a better sister than your sister.
Yes.
And I put, this dialogue is legendary.
Yeah.
Like, seriously. Like,
What?
there
Yeah.
are so many struggling screenwriters in Hollywood, and this is the shit that floats down.
That's what made it.
Yeah.
That's what made it to screen.
Like, yo, that Dick Cheney joke you wrote, that is
Fire.
That is fire, bro.
Fire.
Yo, this is gonna live on forever.
That's not going to be dated
Yeah.
at any point.
Everyone knows Dick Cheney. This is great.
It's a good joke.
Yeah.
Definitely made me laugh. Not the way they wanted me to, though. But go on.
So Lacey Chabert, she, the one from Mean Girls, steps outside for a smoke, and as she's walking around the house, she gets pulled into the crawl space and killed.
Why are you looking in there? Why?
Yeah.
Why of all, like, you know what's going on in this house right now. Why would you go outside by yourself? Number one.
Yeah.
Number two, go into a crawl space. Number three, not tell anyone that you're doing that. It just it's these horror movie tropes kill me.
Can I tell you what I wrote in relation to what you just said?
No.
I said, what if the world ended and this was the DVD that aliens found? It was the only movie that they ever got to see, and they were like, this was all they were capable of.
They would
I'm
leave.
glad they're dead.
They would leave immediately.
They're like,
They would bounce off the
oh.
planet like a rubber band. They would just come in and then be gone.
Yeah.
That'd be it.
I literally thought about that while I was watching the movie. I'm like, what if some other form of life out there came and found this movie, and they were like, I can't figure out who these people are.
You know what would be hilarious? So they see the pyramids and like, wow, these guys built that out of stone? Wow, look at this. And then they find that DVD and they go, oh, okay, never mind. We were like,
They're like, every rose has its thorn.
This tracks. Let's get the hell out of here.
these guys built that? Oh, well.
So storytelling wasn't their strong suit,
Right.
but what a pyramid.
What, yeah. So everyone, they, I guess, hear her or whatever. So they all run out of the house. And that's when they discover Eve's car never left the parking lot. So,
Which I'm pretty sure was a 1993 Dodge Daytona. I'm throwing that out there. We don't
you
have to
drive that?
discuss
Is
it.
that yours?
No, that's one of my favorite cars, though. But that was just, I saw that and I was like, that's a
One of his
19
first victims.
yeah.
Well, yeah, one of my first victims was a 93 Dodge Daytona.
So Mew goes over to inspect, and that's when they discover a decapitated Eve in the car. Her head is just ripped from her body.
That's how decapitation works.
Yep.
Did you know that this movie actually did get an award?
No.
Yeah. For worst snow.
Oh.
The snow looks terrible.
Yeah, well, I was going to come back to that because I do mention, I'm like, so there's a snowstorm. And they're easily just walking down, like, it looks like it's just a salted road. And there's like, they're not like trudging through the snow. And apparently it's supposed to be really bad. And it's not even like 2 inches off the ground. It's like.
But it's also just like the consistency of it.
Yeah.
It looks like they painted cornflakes.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks like those little foam things in packaging,
Like peanuts?
Yeah,
Like packing peanuts?
Yeah, I was like, oh,
What about your penis?
what
I pack
that?
I pack them.
So they all panic,
Both of them.
and Kelly calls 911, and the police response time is 2 hours due to this storm. The storm that we just talked about. The snow that we just talked about. So Heather...
Wait. I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you, but...
Yeah.
So
No, you do mean to interrupt them, but go ahead.
So that scene, it jumped right out at me when they have Katie Cassidy, like, arguing on the phone, and she's, like, walking back and forth.
Yeah.
And I just felt like for the director, it's just like, hey, Katie Cassidy, have a conversation on the phone. like you're talking to the police, it totally won't be embarrassing. It's so like, go back and watch it. It's like,
so,
I feel something when I'm watching it, and it's not good.
Yeah. It's just like, what? What do you mean?
Yeah. She's trying though.
She is. To her, she's good. She's not bad in this movie.
Are you gonna
It's just the
defend her?
material. No, I do like
I
because
don't
I've seen
dislike
her
Katie
do other
Cassidy.
stuff. Yeah, I've seen
Just
her do
like
other
Mew.
stuff.
Mew's
Yeah.
amazing.
Mew. Yeah.
But you can only be as good as the material you're given.
There's so many great actresses in this
Unless you're
movie
Ewan
that
McGregor.
are just completely
Just terrible.
just wasted.
Just bad.
But it's like because of the dialogue, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Yeah.
because of the writing?
And the writing,
And the direction?
Yeah.
The performance must be like impossible to get out because the dialogue is just like a nightmare.
It's yeah. The lighting, again, the lighting was great.
The
Yeah,
lighting
the
was-
lighting-
those
yeah,
Christmas
the lighting was
lights look fantastic.
Yeah.
Everything else.
I did laugh though when I was watching it last night, and she was just kind of like, "What? It's like,
What?
I don't know."
So because the one route, a tree fell, and
On 91. 91's really backed up because
yeah.
of all the accidents. Yeah.
and then in the snowstorm, the police think they'll get here in about 2 hours.
2 hours.
Like, what a terrible response time. So Heather, which is Meow, and
Meow.
Andrea Martin, who I didn't even get to mention up until this point. Love Andrea Martin. I think she's one of the
Is
funniest.
that the mom?
Yeah,
Or
she's
the
like
older
the mom.
Yeah, she's
sorority.
fantastic. Yeah.
She is great. And even in this, like,
I'm assuming she's typecast and she plays that role no matter where she goes.
yeah,
Which is
one
great.
Are you talking to? About?
The
Andrea Martin. She was like the
older
lady,
sorority mother.
like mother.
the woman
patriarch.
from My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love her.
Yeah.
amazing.
She was
She's
great,
so
man.
funny.
Yeah.
She even like My Big Fat Greek Wedding. She is my favorite character.
Yeah.
And yes, everybody at home, I saw all three.
Yeah, she is outstanding. So I hate that I just am mentioning her now because she's one of the
I'm
only
glad.
good parts
Dude,
of this.
if she was
I don't
listening
know.
to this, she'd be really happy that you didn't mention her.
Right, she'd probably think, oh, good, and then I mention her now, and she's like, no,
Oh, boy. My kids listen to Frequels.
damn it. So
Mom, you were in that crap?
you were in this. So
Wait, you have her listening to this podcast?
I like to think so.
Hoping, just hoping that we don't mention her.
yeah,
Okay.
Hey, you know this podcast has powers. We got
It's
Jenna
gonna take
Ortega to
off.
quit.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
going to take off.
You hear
yeah.
that, Jenna?
yeah, write
We
your
love you,
way out
Jenna.
of that.
Yeah, write your way out of that.
So.
Wrote your way out of whatever contract you had signed.
So Heather and Andrea Martin, they go to the car and hope to reach the police that way. After we just heard the phone call of all the roads being terrible, stuff is blocked off, and so they go to the car, and the others kind of stay back in the house.
Not to mention that they just saw someone else killed in another car, and then they get into this car
Right.
and don't check it at all.
Yeah,
Wait, is that when Heather's in the car?
yeah, that's when Heather's in the car.
So one of you had to have noticed this. Was there like a lamp on in that car?
Yes.
The lighting in
Yes.
that car is
Yeah.
so unnatural and bright.
Yeah.
I felt like there was like a
Yeah.
like a house lamp in
Like,
the back.
yeah.
Probably.
Like they have a daytime 4,000 Kelvin just lighting up that car.
Blowing out
Yes.
the back.
Yeah.
I won't stand that, but that jumped out at me.
Yeah, so we see, Heather gets killed inside the car by Billy Lenz because we see his little eye.
Which was
peeking
in the
out.
trailer, which I loved because that's such a great, the little poke of the eye and
Yeah,
then
where
the,
he's
the
like-
slash and then the blood splatter across the windshield. I thought that was great.
Yeah, that actually looks really good. And then poor Andrea Martin just steps back and an icicle falls from the roof. Yeah.
Which was foreshadowing because I think that icicle is the icicle that put out the cigarette from Mew? No, maybe?
Oh.
The girl goes outside, she smokes a cigarette, she lights it, and then there's the icicle, and then it slowly drips, and then it puts out the cigarette, and then eventually she leans back into the shed, and that icicle falls and gouges
There was no foreshadowing.
Yeah.
You're saying that someone would have
Thought
you
about
thought
it.
about that.
Thought about the
okay, you know what?
script. In order for there to be foreshadowing,
Hey, dude,
just stop it.
When you're right, you're right. And
You
I
gave
have to admit
praise
that
to
I'm
the
wrong.
Christmas lights.
That's
You're
enough.
a good person.
Just stop it.
That was your charity
Hey,
for the day.
Really
right?
quick, I don't know where, again, this line belongs in this mess of a movie, but it says, there's a line in it where she says, "We're sisters, so act like it." And literally, that's the best a fifth of Jack could yield. Whoever's writing the script.
We're sisters.
I'm assuming whoever wrote the script was not old enough to buy Jack Daniels based on the quality, but I'm so sorry. If the guy who made this movie is listening, fuck you.
Fuck you. So
That's,
inside,
that's not nice to say to someone, but I second that.
You want to chime in, DJ?
you know what? Yeah, thirds.
There you go.
Thirdsies.
But if the director would ever like to be on the show,
So inside, Michelle
Podcast at
Trachtenberg.
gmail.com.
Yeah. We see where Michelle Trachtenberg, Mel, gets killed by an ice skate at the hands of Agnes.
That was a great death.
That
As far
actually
as
was-
like
yeah.
the murders of what we've seen in all of these movies thus far, that was a really cool death.
Yeah.
Because of just like a chunk of her head just fucking lopped off, which was
Yeah,
great.
it was good.
That was
It was
neato.
cool. And we also see where the drunk Lauren, she also gets killed too.
Yeah, I know that game.
So Kyle shows back up, and they think it's him, but Kelly quickly realizes it's not him because she sees like the cell phone going off. Actually, that was like pretty good suspense there too.
That little light
the
in
little
the
light,
ceiling,
and
that
it looks
was,
like a little like eye.
It's
like,
so
kinda looking
small,
at you.
so tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
So she figures out, the phone that's
Hey, they
going
got
off.
one thing right in this movie.
Yeah, there you go. So
There it is, and that's
bound
it.
to happen.
So all that remains now is Kyle, Kelly Presley, and Claire's sister Leah. And so they decide to check the attic, and this actually was really cool. So Kyle opens the attic, and he's like, "All right,
I'm
shine
gonna-
the light as soon as I open
I'm
this."
going to open it. You shine the light in 3, 2.
And he opens it, and like
Nothing
nothing
there.
happens. So he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna
Give me
peek
the
up."
light.
Yeah,
Give me the
and then he gets pulled right in, and so he gets murdered like immediately.
Yeah, and it took some strength to do that, to just
Yeah.
yank somebody up like that.
Yeah.
That's not easy to do.
Could
It
have
looks
happened
cool.
to a nicer guy.
Yeah.
Who are you talking about? Kyle, who has multiple sex tapes? That guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Nice guy. Go ahead. Move on.
Yeah.
So he immediately gets killed by Agnes, and meanwhile, Kelly Presley and Leah see all the dead bodies around the Christmas tree in the attic, and it's all like their friends and sorority sisters and sister.
She's like, finally, I'm the prettiest girl in the house.
Yeah,
No.
and they face off against Agnes.
I love. Could I stop and go to the eyeballs hanging on the Christmas tree?
Yeah, that was gross.
That was
good.
awesome.
That was cool.
really cool. I
Yeah.
didn't expect that, and I enjoyed that. I'll take that away from me.
Yeah.
I'm going to use that later on, but go ahead.
And we see why Agnes, because that happened to Agnes with the plastic bag and eyeballs getting ripped out.
And
like
then
her eyeball was ripped out.
There was a scene where he takes somebody's eyeball out and he eats it. Like, I don't know how they cooked that eye, but that eye was cooked to perfection because it was just so juicy. And as soon as he bit into it,
Yeah.
all the liquids and pus or whatever fluids,
Yeah.
eye fluid. I don't know what fluids are in eyes. pH, maybe? I don't know. But that was
Well,
awesome.
Can I ask you a question? How do you
I think
cook
it was
an
eye
eye
drops.
to perfection? What does that mean?
There's a lot of things coming out about Vince in
Yeah.
this
No, this
episode.
episode is like, maybe it's because you're not feeling well.
Yeah.
But
Check
you're
out-
letting things slip.
It's okay. Check out my Instagram for more recipes.
Oh, and by the way, before you kick into the next thing, it's at this point that I realized that Katie Cassidy is the main character. That's when it all came home to me.
You're like, oh, this is good way to go.
Yeah.
you survived all the other people. Yeah.
I
you're
could
the
not
main
figure it
character.
out.
We're about 3/3 of the way through the movie, so like it's nice that you figured it out now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks, movie.
So Kelly, we see where Leah gets knocked out and she falls through the floor. And then Kelly...
Very dramatically too.
Yeah.
Like fall through the floor already.
yeah, she's
Like,
so then Kelly gets stuck in the wall, and below her is Billy Lenz, and above her is Agnes, and so she's just like stuck between the two. Is it the opposite?
Agnes is on the ground and Billy's up top.
Okay,
But
yeah. So that's
I don't know why I want to correct you on that.
I know you should feel embarrassed.
Yeah, it was like,
Vince, you feel embarrassed for correcting him on something so stupid?
Yes, a little bit.
Okay, good.
But you know what that made me want to do? That made me want to watch The Matrix.
I thought maybe take a shower, but that's cool.
Well, there's
That's
that
a
too.
good
No. I had to take a shower before I came
man,
here.
I get you. I get where you're at.
But that I was like,
Yeah,
oh my
that's-
god.
Hey, wasn't The Matrix a good movie?
yeah.
Compared to this?
Doesn't it feel like this movie just like took things from other movies and just
ruined
put it
it?
together? Yeah.
It was like a guy who didn't know how to cook trying to make a great meal.
and ruined it?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so we see where, she's stuck in the wall, but luckily Lee saves her in time by busting through the wall. And I did like that on the wall that eye was like yellow where she started to bash through it. I thought that
Which was the wrong wall.
right.
And then she had to go into the washroom
Yeah.
to find and move the washer and dryer out of the way. And let me tell you something. Washers and dryers are not that light, okay? The fact that she just moved them out of the way, that's not how real life works, okay? So I take offense to that because I had to move my dryer the other day to get a sock that was back there. It's not that easy to do, okay?
Yeah.
So I'm just throwing that out there. That was my biggest gripe in the movie.
Hey, could you not bring your personal problems into prequels?
Hey,
You're
man.
making us uncomfortable.
Hey, man. I can't go
cut
around
that out.
buying socks every week, okay?
I wish you just started going off on all this crap wrong in his house.
Yeah.
It's like I opened the drawer and there was no freaking cap on the pen.
And I like caps on my pen.
What are we, Sav?
I tried to get a knife, but the mashed potato thing, you can't get into that with the mashed potato thing. It keeps the drawer closed. You can't get in there.
You can't do it. So then Lee saves saves her in time, and the house sets ablaze, and they get some paint thinner or something.
Yeah.
And they like throw it on.
cares?
They escape, I guess, and somehow they're in the hospital scene.
And did not make sure that anybody was dead. They just
Right.
set the building ablaze and then walked away. Have we seen that before in any of these horror movies?
Well, you know,
Didn't we
what's-
just see it in Jason?
Yeah, we just yeah.
Halloween 2018.
Yeah.
If you're going to set something on fire and you're going to kill someone, make sure you see it through. That's all I'm saying.
You know, that's
But
a big
didn't you find like the cut just like weird because it goes they like exit the house and all of a sudden it's like a
You're in
news
the morgue.
reporter.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. Did they have to wait 2 hours for like? It just didn't make any sense because that house would have been gone by that time.
Yeah, but you're also acting as though the plot and the writing had, was
I have a theory.
something.
I have a theory. They had this new model of an editing bed called the Thrasher. That's
Yeah.
it. Move
That's
on.
it.
Move on.
That's
Okay.
it. That's all you had.
So-
Yeah, because that makes sense.
Because
So-
it just seems like it was like, cut it out.
It just like goes from them running out of the house to the hospital.
Yeah,
and
they're
you're like,
there, and then that's it.
You're like, how did that jump so weird? It was just a weird jump. But anyways,
But in Halloween, didn't they do an entire movie from the time the house was on fire until they got to the hospital? Didn't
Yeah.
Halloween fit an entire movie in that little bit of time?
yeah. And so yeah.
And yeah, we just got a 30-second, and then just moving on with the plot.
It's nice to know that those movies are made so far apart from each other and still doesn't work.
it still
go
doesn't
on.
work.
But go on.
So the next scene starts at the hospital where the news reporter gives us a little bit of exposition on Billy Lynn's and his sister Agnes
And her
killing a
excuse
bunch of
was, well, everyone else is doing it.
Which
yeah.
she was perfectly cast. She was so bad. The reporter.
Oh,
she,
yeah.
She fit in perfectly to this movie.
Yeah. And so down in the morgue, we see where Billy pops out of a body bag and begins to kill the ME medical examiner. And it looks like he and Agnes made it out of the fire okay. Like Billy's face is like a little burnt, but
Why wouldn't you?
they look good. Like nothing. I'm surprised they were in body bags.
Still a nice shade of yellow.
Right. Yeah. Still his nice shade of yellow. But they end up attacking Leah and break her neck. Agnes,
Which was a shitty way to die.
I know.
The way everybody else died, and you just get your neck broken.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
thank you. I'm
But
out.
she had a great coat.
She did that jacket.
that
You say coat, I say jacket.
No.
We're gonna
Yeah.
fight on this.
Whoever wins loses.
we see where Leah gets her neck broken, and then they go to attack Kelly, but Kelly actually gets the upper hand on Agnes and uses a defibrillator to electrocute her.
As he creeps in through the ceiling tiles, which
Yeah, and then
there is
Billy-
no way for a ceiling tile to support that much weight. I'm just
Right.
throwing that out there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I
go ahead.
can in a stupid movie.
Well, yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah. And so Billy, he ends up fighting with Katie Cassidy, and she ends up throwing him over the ledge, and he falls on top of, like, she makes a tree topper out of Billy Lynn's.
One of the best deaths in all of the movies that we've watched thus far. I love that death. The fact-
I loved. So you see her like looking down, terrified,
That-
and then the lighting, like up on the ceiling.
Oh, are you talking about lighting?
Yeah, and how it would flash like the green and the like,
And the red and the green and the
it's
red.
like
Yeah.
going back and forth, and you see like him, like his dead body, basically projected onto the ceiling. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't
just
know.
think it was unfortunate that Katie Cassidy didn't say the line, "Billy, you have failed this city."
Oh, that would have been good. That would have been really good.
I feel like
It's
that's
been
a
a
reference I
long
don't
time
get.
no one made an arrow joke.
I know. Why didn't we? Well, that makes sense. There's so many like flashbacks in this, and
Yeah.
Arrow was all about flashbacks.
Yeah, most of the show was a flashback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Oh, for the
It's crazy.
record, my last note in here says it's like they didn't even try.
Yep. It's like they didn't even try.
You know why?
I also wrote when she had the defibrillator,
Yeah.
I believe the line is clear. Remember in Scream 4?
Right.
Robert should have taught that girl how to read a good line.
Yeah.
Should have brought her in.
Damn it. Yeah.
Clear. Remember that?
Yeah.
Did you ever see Scream? No, you didn't see Scream 4.
You didn't see
know you didn't.
Scream 4? No,
You didn't see
Scream,
4?
yeah. Scream.
It's all right.
No.
Yeah.
Good defibrillator joke in there.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm wasting time. Let's move on.
No, it's really weird that you brought that up, because when I was talking about the jump from what happened to like the transition to the hospital, at least in Scream, it like was a smooth transition, because you knew the fire, like all the like EMTs and police were showing up when Jill Roberts.
There's also a nice
You know?
bridge too when she's on
Yeah.
on the stretcher, and
Yeah.
other people are taking pictures and stuff. So
Yeah.
there's, it's like Wes Craven was a better filmmaker or something.
Yeah,
you know?
right? It's
I
so
miss Wes
weird.
Craven.
Yeah. But it's
even-
funny
it's
that
not
you
even
made
a
a
joke.
reference to Scream 4,
I
because
know.
it does have a
That's
similar-
all we do on this show is we make Spider-Man jokes from the Sam Raimi movies,
Yeah.
and talk about Scream,
And Criterion.
and we pick on
Criterion,
Jenna Ortega
yeah.
until she quits the franchise.
Yep. So, as soon as we see, Billy is dead on top of the tree, it cuts to the end credits.
And I popped some melatonin and called it a night.
And that was Black Christmas. So, what did you guys think of this movie?
After finishing the movie, my first thought was it was a question. It wasn't really a thought. It was,
That's so weird. Yeah.
yeah, why do you guys hate me?
What?
Why do you make me watch these shitty, terrible movies? I'm trying to figure it out. Did I do something to you guys? Is it something?
Well, to be fair,
that
I can explain
said?
to you.
Okay.
I can explain to you.
Because we sat through it and it was terrible.
You went through it, so you wanted to make me
No,
go
no,
through.
no. We
We
just
want to
think
make it a
it's-
shared experience.
We just think this is very funny,
Yeah.
and it's at your expense,
You're not
at
wrong.
your
It was
expense.
funny.
right? Am I
Yeah.
wrong?
No, that's right.
Were we laughing about it on the phone? We were
Oh,
both
we were like,
taking baths at the time.
Oh man,
Giggling?
Vince is gonna love this. Yeah.
We were taking bubble baths, not together, separately over the phone, laughing about how we were going to make you watch Black Christmas.
We're like, oh, he's gonna love the lighting, but everything else.
Everything else.
He's going to hate it. Yeah, he called it. Like,
He
this
loved-
is going to be sick, and we're going to make him watch a
He
shitty
loved.
movie.
He loved
Yeah.
the lighting, and he loved that jacket.
Yep.
Dude,
Yeah.
You love that coat.
I
What's your emojis, you bastard?
I liked all the actors in it, not because of their performances, just as I've seen their other work and it was all good.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, the lighting and set design, set dressing.
There were some really
Awesome.
cool shots. The cinematography was, you could tell whoever was in charge of that, was kind of on the ball for that.
Except when they were in the car.
Oh, there's that. Yeah. Well, except for the lighting in the car.
Lose
But
points for that shit.
I thought it looked really cool. Flip phones were one of my favorite parts of this. Music was really cool in this. I loved the. As soon as I heard Jingle Bells by Frank Sinatra, the Jingle.
Jing.
I love that's one of my favorite.
So good.
My wife's favorite Christmas song. Music was good. Lighting was good. Acting was so. Cast was really cool, but there was no plot. Direction was terrible. I still don't really understand what happened in the movie.
Can I want to explain something real quick before we start giving out emojis. I don't mean to be so hard on movies like this.
It's okay.
But
here's the thing. Let me preface this to everyone who's listening. We all, I don't include me, but EJ and Rory appreciate these movies for the fact that they're movies, that they were made, that there's the cast and crew, that there was time put into it. So we're not shitting on these movies in the sense that we just want to punch down, as we like to say, but we still enjoy these movies. Like, as bad as this was, I mean, I could have spent an hour and a half doing something way worse than this.
Or something.
Yeah,
Right.
well, that would have been more enjoyable. But
For me, like why I'm a little rough on this one. My favorite part of filmmaking is screenwriting, and lately it's actually been a bit of a problem. I've been like really like delving super hard into like the script that I'm writing. And while I'm doing that, I'm like doing a lot of research, and I'm just like going through all these like old classes and stuff that I took, these little workshops, and I'm so fascinated by the structure of a good screenplay. Mm-hmm. And when they work, it's like I get excited.
Works, yeah.
Like I actually
that.
feel like I light up a little bit when I like watch a movie that has a really solid, well put together script. And then sometimes when I'm watching movies like this, it's like I keep getting hit in the face with things where I'm like, well, that's stupid.
With how
or that
bad
doesn't
it is.
work. This movie's an hour and a half, and it feels like it's 3 hours long because there's no pacing and there's no rhythm to anything.
So
I'm not going to stay on that.
But here
No, I totally agree with him. Like really fast, the writing. This movie felt so long. It felt so long, and I originally when I was like, oh, it's only an hour and a half. That's not too bad. And then when I was like doing the writing process for this movie, like writing everything out, like I was like, oh my god, this feels like
it's a chore.
Yeah, it felt so long.
What's your emoji, Vince?
So before we get into that,
Jesus.
one of the things. Oh, fuck you. One of the things I always want to ask, and I forget to do this all the time, is because of your background, what would you have done to make this better?
Well, first
because again, it was still somewhat enjoyable, but how could you, as a writer, director, producer thing, how would you what would you have done differently?
So like I'm not a huge fan of like telling like, oh, this is how I would have done it, but if I could say a couple things that would have made it better, focus up on your main character.
Because
right?
Again, like you said,
it was
who the fuck was the main character in this movie?
Too many people run around. In the
was
original
it Kyle?
movie,
No.
In the original, I don't even know if her name was.
Was it
Kyle.
Billy? It wasn't even Billy.
Well, Billy doesn't need to be. He's just kind of like he's
there.
He's actually not as much of the problem in this movie. I don't think he serves his purpose. He's the creepy guy who murders people. But like, I think having some type of a storyline, like, and just stay on it, build mood, build atmosphere, flesh out your characters. Don't just have them be cannon fodder. Make me care a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe reduce a lot of the flashbacks because I think that's kind of what messed up the pacing.
Yeah.
I was going to say, not even reduce the flashbacks, just have them more together. So it's all
honestly
explained.
That could have been done with dialogue, though.
Yeah.
The
Or
theater I was saying about earlier.
lead the movie with it.
What I was saying earlier, theater of the mind, as I say. I think it would have been so much more beneficial to the movie if they were just in the living room and they were just telling the story of Billy.
Okay.
And like just building like, almost like a campfire story. Like when they would do those like Friday the 13th movies and they tell the story to Jason, bang out the very limited exposition that you need and then focus up on the kids and have that be like what your film is. They're just getting picked off. It's still going to be very thin and very generic, but at the same time, it's not going to feel like such a slog.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you watch the original movie, Vince, and I know you won't, but someday if you ever feel the need to give it a watch, it is so perfectly made. There's so
original?
much craft and I don't know, man. It's so moody and it has like so much personality. It's funny. There's a lot of funny things in it, but it's actually genuinely creepy. Like, it's a very effective horror film. And this movie just felt like a mid-2000s remake.
Okay.
Of a movie
that was originally good, and they just tried to.
Someone was like, "Hey, we should remake Black Christmas." So we watched the original. They're like, "Nah,
we got to make it more up to date."
Cliff notes, please.
Yeah.
What's your emojis?
My emojis are as follows. It's the shrugging. I don't know what the hell's going on in this movie.
Okay.
With the hands up. My second emoji is a jacket, because it's a jacket, not a fucking coat. Don't even test me on that.
See.
Number 3 is the no symbol, the circle with the slash through it, because there was no need to make this movie. We didn't need this. We honestly didn't need this. And then my last emoji is a light bulb, because, again, as stupid as it sounds, I thought the lighting was friggin' phenomenal.
Yes, that is one thing I wouldn't change about this movie.
Is the lighting. That's
and
it.
set design.
Yeah, set design, lighting.
That car.
Yeah.
The other thing that I would say is older Agnes is one of the scariest villains that you've ever had in any of the movies that we've watched.
You just haven't watched a lot of movies.
She looked she looked like one of the Wayans brothers from White Chicks.
I thought it was Billy the whole time.
Hey, high five. Good call. Good call.
No, you're not wrong. No, I thought she was a terrifying character. I really appreciated that. And I mean, I would never watch this again. But not the worst way to waste an hour and a half of my time.
Real quick tag on to the original versus the remake. You know what's really cool about the original?
It had a plot.
It had a plot, but here's the thing: because in this movie with Billy, they kind of explain everything away, as we've talked about.
Yeah.
Billy, you never actually find out who the killer is. It's just like this person calling. You don't actually find out by the end of the movie who the killer is, and it is unnerving.
And I hated the whole their family now. They're my family now.
Stupid.
That's so dumb and so lazy. Yeah, I didn't like that.
But there's more of like Billy is more of like a presence. You know, it's sort of like how like Dracula was in the novel. It's just like this looming threat.
An omnipresent.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
again, if the 1974 version is better, why the hell are you guys doing this to me? Why am I watching this shitty
Let me reiterate, because it's very funny to us.
Okay, fair enough.
What's your emojis, EJ Leeson?
It would be an eyeball.
Cool.
Nice.
A Christmas tree.
Oh, I got that too.
And a yellow middle finger, because fuck this movie.
Oh. Nice.
EJ with a rare F-bomb.
Really?
Well, not that, but Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Snowflake.
Yes.
Right? Didn't get an eyeball, but I did get just like a smiley face, like a yellow smiley face, because the yellow man.
Yeah. I get that.
See, yeah.
All right. Fine.
Kind of lazy on my part, because I literally always forget to do my emojis until we say, "Oh, we should do our emojis." Then I'm like scrambling through my phone.
To be fair, lazy on your part, also lazy on the writer's part and the director's part, and
man,
the
I'm just
producer's part.
falling in line with the movie.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, you're just like, the effort that went into this movie, I'm going to put into this.
Into my
emoji selection.
Hey, so before we wrap up, guys, I had a story that I told you at the very beginning I wanted to tell you.
Yes.
About I feel old and alarmed.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you a story. So, I got really excited to buy the movie Oppenheimer.
Oh, yes.
So, I was sitting there for days, so pumped to just go for a ride. I didn't want to order it off Amazon. I wanted to...
Dude, you could buy it on Apple. No. You could stream it. You don't need to buy the physical copy.
Get out. Get out with that shit. Streaming. Fuck streaming.
I know.
Fuck it.
I'm gaslighting him, I think.
I know. And actually, my heart tightened. No, but I was counting down the days, because I just wanted to take a drive to Walmart. I wanted to buy it. I wanted to go home with it and just put it on my Blu-ray shelf, And I get there, and they don't have it. There's this very small section of Oppenheimers. They're all gone, so I was a little brokenhearted.
Wait, where are we? Walmart or I thought you
Walmart.
said I thought you said Best Buy, but go ahead.
Hold up. So Walmart. So then I go to Target. No, they don't have it because apparently these days all these stores are scaling back on their physical media. So my heart's sinking a little bit. I'm like, wait, what is happening? Like I can't just go to the store and buy Oppenheimer. So I go to FYE.
I love that you're worried.
I know. My last ditch effort, man. I was like literally like sweating. I go to FYE and I walk in and I'm looking around for it and they have all this other crap in there. They like so much crap. There's so much like landfill, future landfill in FYE right now. Well, I'm looking around for Oppenheimer and they don't have it where I can see it.
Yeah.
That's a very important part of this.
I gotcha.
So I'm searching. So I go up to the register and I'm like, dude, do you guys have like Oppenheimer? And he's like, what? I was like, do you have the movie Oppenheimer? Because I think he was like
Taking it
at
back
his phone or something. I was like, do you have the movie Oppenheimer? And he's just like, oh yeah, hold on one second. What's it called? I'm like, Oppenheimer, one of the biggest movies of the year. He's like, oh, hold on a second. So he's like typing on his computer. How do you spell Oppenheimer? I'm like, I'm not doing this for you. Yeah. So I was typing on his computer. He's like, oh yeah, we have one in the store. I'm like, good. Where is it? And he's like, I'm not being rude, by the way. I don't like that stuff. But I'm just like, where is it? And he's just like, hold on a second. So he's like, brings me right over to where I was.
Where you were currently looking.
I was like, colder. I'm like, it's not here. You can search all you want. You're not going to find it. So he's digging around and I'm like, did you find it? Told you wouldn't find it. So
it wasn't where I was looking and it wasn't there and I told you it wasn't there and it's not there now?
So
okay, yeah.
It was literally like he's just sitting there like shrugging his shoulders at this point because I guess when you immediately don't succeed at something nowadays, you just give up. So
I tell my kids that all the time. But
I'm like, I'm going to pose a wild idea to you, sir. Is it in the back? And he's like, what? I'm like, is it in the back? Because a long time ago, EJ and I worked at FYE when we were like in our early years.
I'm not surprised by that, but yeah.
So he's like, oh, well, if it's in the back, I don't think we can put it out. I'm like, its release date was yesterday. You can put it out. So I didn't say it like that because I don't like being rude.
No.
But
I believe that.
So he goes into the back and he walks out and he's got a big stack of them in his arm. He's like, which one did you want? I'm like, I'll take the 4K. He's like, okay. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, there was a stack of Blu-rays and 4Ks just piled up in the back that were supposed to be put out the day before.
Yeah, that's
my
so
point
wild.
Of telling this nonsense story that no one cares about, everyone's sleeping right now, is that I'm driving around like an old man panicking. I'm like, I can't buy Blu-rays anymore. And if I do, I have to drive around and look for them.
Yeah.
So I really have to rely on Amazon at this point.
It's
which is
really
not a
sad.
good feeling.
It's not. It's such a fucking miserable world we're living in right now, man.
So it's so funny you are mentioning this because Thursday night I worked like Thanksgiving into Good Black Friday, and so right after work I'm like, I'm gonna hit up Walmart and see what great deals they have on their DVDs and Blu-rays because that's always the best time to go get them, right? And so I go in and I'm like looking around and I don't see anything, right? As far as Blu-rays, like normally they'll have like a whole stand where all
they'll have
the
an end
movies
cap.
are.
They'll have yeah.
And so I'm just like looking around. I don't see any. I see one for video games, right? But I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna ask the guy working behind like electronics. So I was like, hey, do you have a section for all the movies on Blu-ray or DVD and stuff? And he goes, oh, if we did, it might be like down that way. I was like, oh, I already...
Same guy from BAM.
Yeah, same guy. No. So he points down that way. I was like, oh, I already checked. Would it be like in another part of the store? Because I thought it would be around the electronics section.
No, it's Black Friday. It should be an end cap. It should be right on there. Everybody should be able to see it.
So a manager comes and he's like, hey, do we have like Blu-rays and DVDs that for Black Friday? The manager goes, yeah, the manager goes, oh no, it's only online now that we do it. And I was like, so you guys don't have any like Blu-rays or DVDs on sale right now? And then it said, no, we're not doing it anymore. And I was like, oh, that hurts so bad because I'm such a physical media person. and so that hurt me.
So
Go ahead, Roy. Do you want to talk about this? I kind of want to talk about this. Go ahead.
I typically don't like to do stuff like this on frequels, but I do want to address something. So, like...
Have at it. Preach.
Okay.
Preach.
So for like the last couple of years, I've been constantly hearing this thing about how like these streaming services and people are basically trying to like snuff out movie theaters. And now the physical media is getting pulled back. And I'm like, you're literally destroying one of the most beautiful things that you actually have in your existence, which is film and cinema.
Yeah.
And the ability. And now here's the important part.
Wait. But I just want to preface this. You're saying that you think that they're trying to kill the physical media. The reason that you feel that way is because they are trying to kill the physical media.
They want you to sign up for their shitty streaming services.
Where you can
with
download it to your computer or your phone.
Right.
And inferior products. But like, this is a thing, and then I won't say any more about it. When I was growing up, one of my favorite things in the world to do with my friends was that you would have some movie, right? Like it would be like a Halloween 4 or like like Tales from the Crypt Demon Night, and your friend hadn't seen it, and you were like, you need to fucking watch this movie, and you give it to them.
Yes.
And then they go home, they watch it, and then you talk about it.
Yes.
There was this bonding experience you had with your friends where you would pass movies to each other, you'd watch them, and you discuss it, and it really helped you build your friendship.
Yes.
Going to the movies, like it's like that nice night out with significant other, with your friends, whatever. It's like they're trying to kill this thing, and now all I want to do is kind of like protect it. So like literally, anybody listening to this right now, seriously, like be alarmed by this and buy physical media. Go to the movies. Don't let these scumbags just no, they're fucking scumbags. Don't let them like destroy. I don't know, like this thing that I don't even know who I would be without it.
I know. Well, the basis of our friendship is basically how much we loved movies and be like, oh, have you read this? Like graphic novels or music or even like definitely film, a lot of film. And so I'm the same way. Now I'm actually, I feel like I'm seeking out more physical copies of things than ever before. You know what I mean?
Do you know why you have to though? Because like I heard Guillermo del Toro said this,
and Chris Nolan too.
You are literally saving these movies in a way that you don't even realize it when you buy them. Because all I've been hearing about for the last couple of years is that Disney's like censoring things. They're like blurring out images. They're taking dialogue out of the French Connection.
They're cutting they're like, cutting scenes out of Warner Brothers cartoons and stuff like that. Whole movies
and getting rid of them.
Yes,
there's movies that like are on these streaming services that you probably really enjoy, and guess what? Like they can take it off and it's gone.
Which we've discussed.
Bring on the bootleggers.
Dude, the pirating is not too far away.
Good.
Again. You remember LimeWire? You remember giving AIDS to your computer? That's not too far away with all of these streaming services.
Yeah.
Growing up, a large portion of my childhood was getting a CD, a physical CD, and opening the book, reading the lyrics, looking at the art, looking what recording studio it was recorded at, who engineered it, who produced it, those things like that. When you stream shit on Apple Music, none of that's there. Like you have to dig to find those things. So like one of my favorite producers of all time was oh my god, I'm gonna blank on his name.
Jerry. Like he means a lot to you.
Yes, exactly. His name's Jerry. I don't know, or I can't remember his last name. He did Blink-182. He did Green Day. He did stuff like that. So I would go to Joe Nardone's Gallery of Sound, and I would look at albums, and I would see who produced it, where was it engineered, who did the artwork for it, because that type of thing was like, hey, I'm gonna buy this and I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna give it to my buddy and he's gonna take it home and he's gonna flip through the book and he's gonna look at all this stuff, and that's dead.
It's part of the experience.
It's part of the experience, which I agree with. But let me tell you, the convenience of having 100,000 songs on my phone is amazing. So as much as I agree with you, the idea of I never have to go out and buy a DVD, all the shit that you guys have made me watch, I've streamed it. Everything's been streamed. So while I understand what you're saying, the convenience of it, I don't know if you know this about humans, regardless of whether we'll take convenience over quality.
You know where you're heading? You're
Tell
going to be
me.
one of those fucking guys at the end of WALL-E.
I'm gonna be.
You're going to be that
I'm
guy
gonna be
in,
in that
chair
fucking
with
chair.
your stupid TV in front of you slurping a giant soda.
100% that's me.
I love you, Vince.
That's me right now.
That's me.
But yeah. No.
No, dude, I know.
I feel you.
I
and
know the
I
rationale.
I understand.
I know the rationale. I'm going to tell you this right now. Just because something's easy doesn't mean it's good for you.
Let me get into parenting. I try to say this to my kids. The easy thing and the right thing are never the same thing.
You know what else happens? When I was a little kid, I remember the very first movie that I ever bought was the fourth Halloween. It was on VHS. And the fact that I had that was just made me so
Because you
lit up
had
and
it
excited.
forever.
Right. And the fact that like you actually had to like put money together, your own money, and buy this stuff, it gave it value.
No, I get
and
that.
now
I
it's
get
all
that.
disposable trash.
I get that 100%.
Even like when you look at like all the overflow of stuff that's just put into these streaming services that you'll never watch because there's just too much content and it doesn't mean anything. It's all just content. It's all static. It's all noise. It's
I agree.
So what I'm gonna say is, just go buy movies, go to the movies, and celebrate cinema because it's the best thing that we've accomplished as the human race.
I was just gonna say, saw Napoleon. The best way to see that movie isn't sitting home.
Big ass screen.
You have to see it on a huge screen. The battle scenes, everything. Like, it's not like the best movie in the world.
But if you want to appreciate it,
if you want to truly experience that movie for what it should be, you have to see it on the big screen.
You. I feel that.
Same
exciting.
with Oppenheimer.
Hey guys, remember during the summer Barbenheimer? How much fun was that?
Yeah.
You could do it every week.
You could do that every week.
Yeah.
There's
If they
two
wanted
movies that
to.
drop every week.
Yeah. I Barbenheimer like 12 months a year.
Yeah.
So do you, EJ. You go to the movies all the time too.
All
And we
the
talk
time.
about it. All those
All the
movies you were
time.
mentioning, I was like, yeah, I saw those too.
Yeah.
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 I had another thing I was going to do about
What were you
music.
gonna
But, one of the other things as far as streaming goes that aggravates me is I think the greatest album of all time is Dark Side of the Moon. If you were to, we don't have
Okay,
to
no,
discuss
you
it.
mean you took it.
No, it is, and you can fact check it. It's actually the greatest album of all time, Dark Side of the Moon. Check it out, kids, if you haven't.
I'm gonna write it down.
Oh, write it down. Oh my God, he's writing it
No,
down.
I'm just kidding.
Fucking Vince is an asshole. Anyway,
Write it down.
when you stream Dark Side of the Moon from song 1 to song 2, there's a second gap. It's a millisecond gap, but it stops and then it begins. On the album, if you were to listen on LP, and my God, kids, if you want to listen to something, listen to it on an LP. It'll blow your mind.
So what you're saying is that the physical media is superior.
And they've ruined it. Yes, they've 100% ruined it.
Interesting.
Dark Side of the Moon is technically one song. Like, yes, you have to flip the LP, but they made it, and Green Day's American Idiot is one song. They made it into an album, but you lose that when you don't have the LP or the CD or anything like that. When you're streaming it, there's this little gap in between each song where it breaks it up, where the producer and the engineer made it so it's supposed to be one linear thing, and you lose that on streaming. And there's a lot of things, like you're saying, the quality, the degradation, all of the format, everything is being taken down a notch. But your 4K that's never going to go out of style.
You know what, man? I'm telling you, like, I was walking out of FYE to put a little bow on this, and I was like, I own Oppenheimer for the rest of my life. And I don't care if that makes me a dork.
No.
But I have so many movies in my apartment, and I'm just like, I get to own them.
And I'm happy that you're happy about that. That makes me happy that you're so pleased.
And I want people to just like not just always let things that are good about this world die because it's convenient. I think that's a nice way to just sum that up.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I feel like Blood Sugar Sex Magic by the Red Hot Chili Peppers does the same thing, where you listen to track 1, it goes right into
and
track
it
2.
flows, and there's this.
Yeah,
It's
Rick Rubin.
It's an
is just
experience.
like, yeah. And so
Rick Rubin's going to make it, I think.
I think he'll do all right. Yeah.
Him and Christopher Nolan and Scorsese, all these
Yeah.
guys that are doing these things, they're gonna figure it out, I think.
I remember I was trying to make it happen, but it didn't really take off when Exorcist was coming out in the Taylor Swift concert. I was like, guys, we got to take part in Xer Swift. We got to do it.
Awesome. Beck and I have one too. Saw X and Paw Patrol came out the same week, and so we had Saw Patrol.
Saw Patrol.
So good.
Yeah, man, we got this.
We got to keep it going.
Yeah.
We got to, yeah.
Did you Saw Patrol?
I saw, but I didn't patrol.
What did you call it? The
Xer Swift.
awesome,
That's so good.
brilliant.
So good.
But
Yes.
wrap this up.
So
I gotta go home.
let's talk about plugs. You got anything you want to plug?
I mean, I'll plug Adam Farley again because the song's fantastic. Jimmy Reynolds, Four Finger Discount, plug there. Shout out to Will Perna, just cause.
Just cause.
Just
And
'cause.
his band.
And his band.
Variant
Seasons. Yeah.
Yeah.
Variant Seasons.
Look it up if you like your metal music. It'll
Yeah.
kick you right in the chest.
Yeah,
man.
Will
It's great.
Perna,
It's really
Mark
good.
Yanish. We got all these people here.
Beautifully produced.
Will Perna knows his shit.
He does.
That's
Yeah.
I'll definitely say that.
I would like to throw a shout out to friend of the show, for like guest, Jon Snow and his bands. You could check out Korn tribute band Issues. Amazing. Yeah.
Roy, you got anything?
Raven View Productions.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
I got some cool stuff coming up. I'm not going to talk about it because the second you start talking about doing art, you never get it done. So I'm
It's
just
a
gonna
thing.
say
Just believe
sure.
it.
Yeah, it's coming. I got a real cool thing coming up. With that being said, also Fourth Cut reviews. We like those dudes. So yeah, that's it for me.
Yeah, and I appreciate everyone that listens. Thank you.
I do not, but that's
Yeah.
fine.
Is there a tease for next week's episode, or do we know what we're doing? Because I'm in the dark, but if you got something.
So next week episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I can't wait to. I heard about that. Is it? I'm excited to watch that now. So
Hey,
yeah.
Dude.
Hey, so I was going through your computer earlier, Vince. You know what I found in there? I found.
Oh no.
Oh no! I can't believe you.
And then I made
mentioned
me vomit. And the police showed up.
Yeah. Why is your homework folder 64 gigabytes?
that. When we talk about this stuff, can you edit it like to make us sound like Charlie Brown's parents?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, perfect.
I like it.
Excellent. But without any more, guys, thank you for listening to
Wrestling Team.